Today I want to talk about a book that helped me out immensely when I first began my photography journey. A book that gave me a better perspective during a time where I felt really lost as a photographer. And the book is titled Steal Like an Artist. What? Theft made you a better photographer? Yes. Yes, it did, my friends. The book is by Austin Kleon, and he emphasizes that we shouldn't fear imitating other artists, but instead embrace, learn, and take from them to create something of our own. And eventually you'll develop your own style. Here are 6 takeaways from the book that made me a better photographer. First, nothing is original. Most of the time that you see something that you think is completely original usually means that you don't know where the reference point is coming from. Or better yet, sometimes there's just so many influences in this one piece that it's hard to pinpoint them down. I mean, have you ever seen a Quentin Tarantino film? They're inspired by spaghetti westerns, Hong Kong action films, American pop culture, all these other things. And they're all molded into these incredible movies like Kill Bill and Inglourious Bastard. And if it's good enough for him, and he's one of the greatest ever, then this strategy should be good enough for you to improve upon your work. Free yourself from the burden of trying to be completely original, and instead build upon those influences to create something of your own. And down the line, if you're lucky, somebody will look at your work, get inspired, and do the same thing. It's a never-ending cycle of an artist. Second, garbage in, garbage out. I'm a firm believer that most people are only as good as the art they consume. When I first began photography, most of my consumption was done through Instagram. That held me off for a while until I felt that I needed to dig a little bit deeper to improve my work. Once the pandemic hit, I was home for most of the days, and I began to study a lot of the legendary photographers through photo books and this YouTube channel called The Art of Photography. And it completely opened my eyes to what's possible as a street photographer. Allow yourself to be inspired by whatever you deem is worth your energy. Your job is to collect as many good ideas as you can so you can go back and reference them whenever you need them for your own works. Third is to start copying. This one in particular resonates with me on a much deeper level. When I first began my photography journey, I felt very lost on how to approach my work artistically. I would always overthink the decisions I was making, and then I would feel guilty for making work that looked like somebody else's work. It wasn't until I fully embraced this idea of copying whatever's worthwhile with the understanding that eventually I'll find my own style. I remember being slightly judged by somebody who I admired because they felt that my work wasn't up to their expectations. Though I understood where they were coming from, they were failing to understand the artistic process that I was going through because they haven't experienced it themselves at this moment in their lives. I trusted that down the line this would make sense, so whether they saw it or not, it really wasn't my job to convince them. I had to stay strong in the decisions that I was making because at the end of the day, it really only affected me. And luckily for me, things worked out in the end, so I'm very grateful that it did. So keep copying. 4, don't wait till you know who you are to get started. Yeah, I'm staying here first and foremost. I was gonna switch scenes again, but this is pretty cozy. So it's easy to fall in the trap of waiting to get to know yourself a little bit better before you start creating. But let me be perfectly clear. This epiphany that you're waiting for is extremely unlikely. I have yet to see any artist get to a point where they're just like, you know what? That is enough life experience. I'm gonna just start making work now. All that is time wasted that you could have been improving on your skills. I remember over 15 years ago, a good friend of mine used to tell me that he needed more life experience to finally start working on this project that he wanted to work on. And at the time, he had me fully convinced that was a better idea. But as life goes on, it proved us otherwise. At the end of the day, you're either creating or you're not creating. There's no in between. Austin emphasizes that in the act of doing our work is when we truly find ourselves. And through my experiences, I couldn't agree with him anymore on this. The 5th one is to do good work and share it with people. And when I say good work, I mean whatever you consider to be good work, not necessarily what you think other people are going to like. In the beginning, I always felt like I couldn't produce good work, but I still found it in me to share whatever I thought was good enough. The more you share, the more you'll see that people will connect with some things, they won't connect with the others, and that's all fine. Whatever reason you're thinking why you shouldn't be sharing your work, it's more than likely just an excuse. Put yourself out there, only good will come from it, I promise. And also understand that one post does not define you as an artist. You're much bigger than that. Whether it's 1, 2, 3 posts, it doesn't matter because eventually you're gonna move on to the next thing and you're gonna keep evolving, you're gonna keep working onto something else. Trust me. Trust me. Please, trust me. If there's one thing you're gonna trust me with, at least trust me with this one thing. So, do work, share with people, keep it moving. And the last one is, you guessed it, steal like an artist. Learn to steal with dignity. Honor them by studying their way of thinking. Don't just plagiarize their work, but transform it into your own thing. And don't just rip them off, but remix what they're doing to make your own version of it. When I first started street photography, there was this New York-based photographer named Ray Lives on Instagram that was a big inspiration for me. And I remember always wanting to go to New York to just take some of the shots that he was taking, just because, you know, when you're starting, you don't really know what to do when it comes to your artistic vision, so it's easy to just gravitate towards someone else's vision. And I went to New York at one point, and I got a lot of the shots that I wanted to try that he's done, and it worked out really well. I posted them on Instagram. They got a lot of love. My editing was getting a little bit better too, so I felt like there was some type of improvement there. And my other work from New York at the time wasn't too bad. But even with the love that I received on the photos, I remember thinking, yeah, this doesn't fully feel like it's mine. So I was happy that people connected with it, but I knew that, you know, I'm gonna eventually have to figure out my own way of shooting in New York, and luckily I have. I've been to New York a bunch of times, and I don't even shoot remotely close to how I used to shoot before. But I would have never been able to get to these places artistically if I never took these other steps to, you know, keep improving what I was doing by taking from somebody else until I found my own way of doing it. So keep stealing wherever you can. I mean, this thumbnail that I made was inspired by a Matt Diavella thumbnail that he recently did. And even though I always had the idea for a similar thumbnail, when I saw his, it was just more motivation to be like, all right, you should just create this real quick even before you make the video. So these were some of the ways that this book helped me become a better photographer in the beginning of my career. And I still go back to it from time to time since it's such an easy read. And I think the information in it will always be relevant to me as a photographer. Feel free to like this video and subscribe to the channel. I always forget to say that in these videos, so I need to make sure that I'm saying that from time to time. And check out my website. I still have my photo zine called Out of My Jurisdiction available on there. That's photos that I've taken out of Providence, Rhode Island, and I really like a lot of the work in there. I think some of you might enjoy it as well. And sign up for my newsletter as well. I'm gonna start being more proactive when it comes to it. I haven't been using it that much lately, but I have a lot in store for it. So I hope you guys enjoy the video. Peace.